another side quest. So we're keeping you updated on everything gaming. As always, I'm Michelle, and I'm joined by Alex.
Hello, Michelle.
Hello. And then this week we are talking about Resident Evil Village. I'm just going to get it out of the way and say absolutely spoilers. We probably won't be spoiling the entire game because I know I haven't beaten the game yet. I don't think Alex has beaten the game yet either.
No.
But we're going to be spoiling like a good chunk into the game. So if that is something you're worried about, heads up, it's going to happen. So with all that being said, let's just kind of jump into the discussion. Where, like, I'm not sure if you're going to be further than me into the game. So where are you in the game? Like, how many hours do you think you've played or anything of that nature?
Well, I have been live streaming with another friend. He has his own channel called Stampy Gaming, and it's crazy, 5.5 hours last night of playtime, which wow, I guess thanks to this lockdown, I'm able to play like this much because with a job, no, not really.
Yeah, fair.
How about you?
Oh, yeah, I think I'm around 5 hours in. There was definitely a good chunk of time where I got confused and lost. So I'm probably not as far, but I'm about as long in, if that makes sense. Because
Okay.
once I got into the castle, I lost my head and I forgot what I was playing, and I was just like so confused by the maps. So it didn't go super great for me in there, but you know, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So let's kind of talk about I'd say the introduction to the game, like now that we've seen it all play out between Ethan and Mia and Chris. Were there any surprises there? Anything like you wanted to talk about?
Okay, let's just cut right to it. Like that big opening battle scene where you're in this strange village. It looks empty except for like one random old man, and there's just a ton of Lycans coming after you, trying to kill you. And all of a sudden there's a giant Lycan with a huge sledgehammer. He's coming after you. They're all trying to kill you. And it was extremely reminiscent of part 4, Leon Kennedy in the village. All the villagers see him, they come after him, try to kill him. And instead of the big werewolf, there was this big dude with a chainsaw. Same threat level. I was just, I couldn't believe how similar it was. And it's great because like after part 7, I guess okay, let's shake things up, let's make things a little different. But that scene definitely reminded me of part 4. And speaking of part 4, you have another merchant called Duke. That's another similarity. The other similarity is the menu. No storage item boxes. It's back to just your inventory, and you can upgrade it to make it bigger. And the castle. Castle's also a Resident Evil 4 thing. So Resident Evil 4 was always my favorite, and like this return to like that same atmosphere, I'm just in love with it.
Fair. I've got that werewolf fight.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we live streamed, like I live streamed for the Lunchbox. So anyone who happened to watch that, like, thank you for watching. That was a mess. That was a hot mess. I went back and actually replayed so I did the live stream and then I started a whole new game just myself from the comfort of my home in my jammies, safety. And then I played that part again. And that part is so weird. I can't figure out like what triggers the cutscene because I did 2 totally different things in my 2 different playthroughs. Like I ended up in totally different places. Like at one point I got thrown, at one point I saw myself get shot with the arrow. So I need to give a shout out to the gameplay of that segment, because the confusion, like I thought, like after I did the live stream, I thought maybe I'm just really bad at the game. So I went and I searched like other YouTubers to see like somebody who I thought would be really good doing a good job. So I watched Jacksepticeye play the same thing. That dude lost his head as well. He was losing it and screaming, being like, where do I go? What do I do? So it made me feel so much better because it was actually like, that's how it's supposed to happen. And I love the way they made that happen, because that just like right away, it is so intense. It's so confusing. It's overwhelming. Like that is such a good sequence. And I loved that it kind of happened. Like I hadn't seen it. I had no idea it was coming. I was like, oh yeah, we're about to get into like demo territory. I'm going to be safe. And then that happens. So right when you think you know what's happening, like that part happens.
Yes.
I loved it. Then we move kind of from the village into the castle. So we get to see that cutscene with the 4 heads of house. So now that we've seen that for real, the nasty fish guy being nasty.
Wow. There was so much to take in with the introduction of just those 4 characters. The it's not a marionette, I guess, just like the ventriloquist dummy or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Just like the sentient being walking away. Oh, I'd also like to praise the very opening of the game, the like children's fairy tale. It was like beautiful. I've never played Little Nightmares, but apparently it looked like Little Nightmares. But I love the artwork for that, and just watching, I'm like, how the hell does this fit into Resident Evil? And I got to a point where like there's a little bit of a cameo of how it fits in, but I don't want to spoil that yet, just in case. You're still in the castle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just,
I'm not there yet. I'm struggling in the castle.
Oh yeah. It's not easy. The whole castle thing isn't easy.
Yeah, I'm at like the part of the castle where Lady Dimitrescu is just constantly following me. So the moment that like she showed up in an area, like I ran into the courtyard and then she came into the courtyard, I lost
She
it.
can follow you there?
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. She did not follow me. Oh my god.
She followed me in the courtyard, and like honestly, I full panicked. I was running around. I like didn't even stop to look at the maps. Then I ended up just not even where I was trying to go because I was just like trying to get away from her, because hers like in any of the Resident Evil games, like that character, that like stalking character, I always just it inhibits my ability to play a game. I panic. I like lose my mind and I just run. When the game tells me to run, I just book it. So that's kind of what my last like 45 minutes before I went to bed was, just me running. So then I had to call it because I was like, I'm not playing strategically anymore. I'm just going nuts. So yeah.
So did you encounter the scene where you're pulling the lever up slowly?
Oh yeah.
And okay. All right.
Oh,
because dear Lord, I screamed like a girl. I'll send you that clip because I've got that saved on my phone. But it was like I couldn't believe it because hey, didn't this happen before?
Honestly, and then like the when he puts his hand back on and puts his like medical goo, I'm like, buddy, wow.
And his sleeve is stitched back. Like what? What is happening right now?
I don't get that. Man, this game hates Ethan's hands. That's what I gotta say, because like he gets sliced on the barbed wire, then he gets the bitten hand, and then he gets the hooks through the hands, and then he loses the hand. I think that's everything so far. But
I mean, you're kind of leading into like the one thing I'm not liking about this game. And okay, so I'll preface this by saying like Part 7, it was a great game. And like, I understand why they had to get away from the prior games, because they were turning into like superhero characters. I've said it before. Leon is like your Daredevil, Nightwing, super agile character that'll get away from anything, can do anything. Chris Redfield was turning into the Hulk, flat out, like just super strong, roided guy. Claire was like a John McClane, Jill, crazy superhero characters. So Part 7 Village, they turned to the neutral, every person kind of like a nobody, right? Just I guess so it could appeal to a lot more people. Fair. Unfortunately, by this point, it turns out that Ethan Winters is a superhero, and that is Deadpool, because he is just an absolute pincushion, getting body parts spliced, like Lady Dimitrescu just stabs him through the gut. And yeah, like that part of the game, it's like it really takes me out of it, because like sure, you got healing items, but like it's a bit too far. Like that's what makes me think maybe there's more to this Ethan Winters character. Maybe there's something in him, virusy, that's setting him apart.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. When I first started playing the game, like I don't know how much you explored the house, like their house with him and Mia. But if you go upstairs into the bedroom, there's books in the bedroom, and one of them is like a firearms manual, and he kind of talks like a little bit about that. So it's established that he's had all this, now he's had this military training and he's done all of these things with Chris. So it makes sense why He's
Yeah.
a lot more proficient with weapons and like that sort of thing. So I'm like, okay, cool. They kind of explain that away. And then like the hand gets chopped off and all this happens. And I'm like, I'm a little suspicious for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I would say the hooks in the hands, like from the sister or the daughters, he takes that really well. Like he's
Yeah.
relatively unfazed. When he gets his arm chopped off, like I think he has a very real reaction to that.
Yes.
But all the other injuries, like he doesn't react that much. Like
No.
the thing that comes back to me is from the demo segment, like the village demo segment, where right after he's gotten his fingers bitten off, he's got the bandage and the house is burning down. He goes out the window and he's angry. He has this moment where he punches the wall with his bit up hand
Oh
and
my
doesn't
God.
react at all. Because I've played that part twice now, like
Yeah.
every time I see that, and I'm like, how does that not hurt? How? So I 100% agree with you that there is something going on with him, coupled with the fact that when Lady Dimitrescu drank his blood, she said there was something like he tastes weird or whatever. So maybe he's like a zombie. Right. I think zombie because she said something stale or something weird. Like the wording was like that. I forget what it was, but that's what I
would probably enjoy that retcon. Like it would make a lot of sense that like because like when I picked up the hand, I went into my inventory right away to examine it. Because it's an old Resident Evil trope. You look at it, see if there's a button to push. Obviously not in an arm, but like I just want to look at it. And it was just like nasty, just like sliced cleanly. You see the bone and the sinew and everything. It's like, all right, I guess I can't shoot.
Yeah. So in that little segment, I tried to use my mind, and it was like, you can't use that because I don't have a hand.
No. Yeah,
and that made me laugh. I was like, okay, that makes sense. You can't just like use your other hand with only 3 fingers instead of mine, I guess, whatever. So that was really funny. So you kind of brought it up. So that was one thing you're not liking about it. Is there anything else you're not liking about it? And then we'll move into what we are liking.
Like I'm loving it. Like the only thing, but it would probably be better if I wasn't live streaming and I could do this at home. But like just like how long I take every time I talk to the merchant, the Duke. Because there's so many options and I love to overthink. But so that's just me. It's not necessarily a bad thing, just a boring thing for other people watching. But no, I love it. Like I can't wait to see where it goes from here. I guess only story wise, like if you think about it, it does make sense that there's a certain level of what do you call it? Like fantasy in this world, since like the T-virus, they established that they got that from like different parts of the world that like these strange creatures existed. So I guess like in this game they're just doing a full nosedive into the sort of fantasy based monsters.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I agree with you. I want to give a shout out to like every YouTuber, every live streamer out there who's able to make this type of game highly entertaining, because you want to stop and you want to look and you want to explore and you want to pick up all the little nuggets. So either they don't do that and then they're hindering their own gameplay down the line by not searching for everything, or they're doing it and editing it all out, in which case that would take a really long time. So like shout out to that, because I struggled with the same thing when I did the live stream, because it was my first playthrough of it. And I want to look, I want to explore, and I really had to restrain myself, because I was like, I'm only streaming X amount of time. I ended up going over. I was going to do an hour. I did an hour and a half, but that's fine. And that's with trying not to go overboard looking for things. So there is that aspect. I think the thing I'm not liking, and this is just, I think, a me problem, the part where I'm at right now, where I'm really stuck in the castle, just like being confused and lost, is very reminiscent of 7, when you are in the house and you're going through and there's a little like squishy goop guys that keep respawning.
Right.
That segment felt really long in 7, and it feels like I'm in that again, because I'm going through the same loop and there's a guy there and there's a guy there, and like every time I go into the courtyard, there's the guys with the swords, and I keep having to go in the courtyard because I keep getting lost, and then Lady D is chasing me, and it's a whole thing. And it just feels like that's elongated the game. I'm not complaining that the game's longer, just that segment feels tedious to me. But also I haven't figured it out yet, so maybe once I figure out like the whole, because I'm at the part like I just can't get out of the castle because I haven't got all the masks for the statues. I just got
Right.
the first one.
How many of them? You got the first one. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like literally only a quarter of the way through.
How many of the daughters have you encountered?
I mean, I feel like I've encountered all three, but I've like fought two of them. So I fought the one with like the two windows, and then the one with like the ceiling window.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you sanctioned them.
Yeah.
Right.
I did.
Yeah.
I did my thing.
I really like that.
And panicked.
Yeah.
The first one, like
Wow.
I could not figure out the window thing because I like in the cutscene you break the first window. So then I'm like, okay, so then I go and break the second window, and I'm like, great, but then she's not getting affected. It's because the first window's not broken all the way, and that I hated that. I hated that.
I thought you just have to like shoot them up when the wind is blowing. That's what I did. I would just break the windows and just shoot them up.
Yeah, I thought I'd broken the first window fully, so I hadn't. So she wasn't getting fully stunned.
Oh.
So I'm just like running back and forth in this tiny room, being like, why isn't she dying? What am I doing wrong? I don't understand. And then I shut the window again. And I was like, oh, that was it. So there's been a couple moments like that where like I truthfully have just not figured out the puzzle properly. So I've been struggling in something that's supposed to take like 5 minutes, taking me like 20 minutes.
Oh,
so
right.
that's why
Well,
I'm not this far.
I will say there was one part that just like I was stuck for like a good while, and it was just that there was a key hanging on the wall.
That I in Lady D's room. Yeah.
That's it. I was like stuck for a while. It's just back and forth, but like the area is really tiny. So there wasn't a lot to it. So I knew there was something I was missing, but just like randomly, oh right, she's really tall, and this is over here. So
yeah, I had to do a couple laps to figure that out. I'm like looking underneath things. I'm like crouching. Like where is it? Yeah, there's been some good ones like that. I mean, I love the puzzles in Resident Evil. I always think they're really good. Like the one with the pool of blood. I liked that. I liked that little segment. I thought that was really cool. I don't know if I truly said what I didn't like. Oh yeah, just that where I'm at feels tedious.
Right.
That's what I don't like. So moving forward to what we do like and are enjoying, what's kind of standing out to you, besides the fact that it's so similar to number 4?
I guess I'm loving the enemy variety, because if it's not werewolves, it's the guys with the swords, who are like clearly the vampires. Just like vampire scrubs, I guess I'll call them. They're not really too tough. And you encounter like these sort of mini boss fights with the daughters. Really cool stuff. And Lady Dimitrescu, when you sanction her, you're gonna see how that goes. It's really neat.
Oh dear. I'm ready to be rid of her. I'm ready to be rid of her. She just ooh, the stalking presence, it just makes me sweat. I mean, like, she's a beautiful lady and I'll be sad to be rid of her, but I'm not a fan of, like, I go into a room, I look at the things, I'm like, okay, there's nothing in here, I check the room, I go to walk out the door and she's crouching through the door. And it's happened to me like 3 times now, and every time my heart just like falls out my butt. It's so intense. I mean, as much as she stresses me out and makes the game hard for me, like I love her, obviously, but just the way she plays, like when she showed up in the courtyard for me, that was so stressful. And the fact that you didn't experience that, like I love that the experiences are slightly different in that regard, like the way we all would have panicked through the werewolf battle and the way we're all encountering Lady D in the house, like either a lot, not a lot, depending on kind of how quick you are to move through things. I think that's really, really awesome that everyone's experience can be unique in the same game without it being like a procedurally generated thing. Like it feels like, why wouldn't everyone experience her in the courtyard? I'm surprised, like I'm actually shocked that didn't happen for you. So I really love that aspect of it, that it's, you know, I guess you could hear us talk about it even, and then you'd still experience a different game potentially, or like you could watch someone live stream it and it can still be a little different for you. The bones are the same, but like the meat of the animal could be different, kind of thing.
That's right.
And I love that. So based on how far you are, I guess you're a little bit further than me. It's okay. I accept that things can be spoiled for me. What theories do you have? I know we had some theories from seeing like the trailers and playing the demos. Do you have any new theories? Are you feeling validated in any of them?
No. Man. no, I don't know what's going on. Like not even the old lady witch. I'm puzzled to who she really is. I think that Mia has something to do with that village. Like she like either was raised there or born there or something. That's my new theory. That like she was like a local. She has something to do with this place. That's the only thing I could think of. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that Ethan, there's something special about him, just so that like my own like head canon will make like will work out. Like it'll make sense of how he's like such a just a rag doll for punishment.
Fair. I have a couple. So I have one theory and then a couple things that I'm just like I think are interesting, but I don't know what they mean. So from the start of the game, we see the animation sequence. And there's one thing that's said on the animation sequence that like I'm questioning. And I don't know if it's like an intentional thing. So we see the 4 monsters in the animation sequence. All of the monsters are yellow, glowing, except for the bat. The bat glows white. I just think that's interesting. Why? Like, why is that a thing? I'm not sure. Then I'm trying to piece together because that storybook that Mia is reading is a local legend. I'm trying to figure out who each of the people are in the local legend, because I feel like it would be an obvious choice for the dark witch to be oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. The lady with the wings.
Yeah,
Mother Miranda. There we go.
Miranda, yes, Mother Miranda.
Yeah. I was just Mother Miranda. I think that would be an obvious choice, but what if it's the hag lady?
Okay.
That's what I'm questioning. Why?
Okay.
I'm not sure. But she definitely has some type of powers or situation, because the fact that she's just wandering the village and not getting attacked by the lichens.
Yeah.
Like there's some level of respect or fear there.
Yeah.
So I'm suspicious of that. So I'm wondering if she's a bigger character, or I don't know, she's something. She's like half of Mother Miranda. I don't know if there's like, I don't know.
She must fit in.
Yeah, that's me getting into like crazy speculation territory. And then here's my actual like concrete theory that is absolutely crazy based on like 2 scenes. I think I'm suspicious of Mia, and I think Mia is either brainwashed or not Mia. So the reason I say that is in the opening sequence when she is like reading to Rose and interacting with Ethan, she is cold, standoffish, very irritable, like no love in her being literally at all. The baby's not in pajamas and they want you to put the baby to bed. Bad mothering. The house is in disarray. The carpets are shitty and all rolled up. Just, it's not a happy household. And there's like things pointing to that. And she's heavily medicated. Yet, for someone being so heavily medicated, she's prone to outbursts, which is interesting. Then you go to the flashback of getting the phone call from the doctor's office when Mia actually is very angry at Ethan for not caring about himself. Like there's this like loving anger coming from her, and it feels like a different Mia. Like literally, those are 2 different people. I don't know if it's like, I'm like thinking like a clone situation, because I know we've seen that before, or like I don't trust the Mia that's dead. Like dead Mia is not true Mia. Is the stance I'm taking based on those 2 scenes. Because I'm just so suspicious of her. The fact that she was able to like do everything she did in RE7 and not feel any type of way about it. Like when they're at the dinner table and she's like really just doesn't give a crap
want to talk about
that he's straight up traumatized from how bad, and it was only 3 years ago at this point. That just, I don't know, it doesn't seem like the Mia that we encountered originally in 7, like nice Mia, and not Mia from the flashback. So clone, brain controlled, not her.
All right. And so what is Chris doing? Like what is Chris's role? Because that is a horrible thing to do, to kill Mia and just toss Ethan in this evil village. Like what is that about?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out that
Yeah.
like opening sequence, because did they intentionally toss him in the village? I think they got attacked on the way to their destination. So maybe he didn't intentionally toss Ethan in the village. I really am still trying to like make
So weird.
Chris not the worst, but
Yeah.
he killed Mia and there's no way around
Yeah.
that. Unless it's not really her and he knew it the whole
Yeah.
time. And
Dear
that
Lord.
was aggressive overkill, like the amount of bullets. So I'm thinking
It
maybe
really was.
he thought she was some type of monster that required that many bullets to be put down. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, yeah.
I'm grasping at straws at this point, but so with that, it brings us to the end of our review of Resident Evil Village so far. Again, we're not done the game, obviously. I'm sure we will be talking about it again in the future when we are done, because there will be a lot more to unpack, I suspect. So with all that said, this has been Side Quest. I'm Michelle. I was joined by Alex. And
Bye.
we'll see you next time. Bye.